This episode is brought to you by Nordstrom. Whether you're packing for a vacation or dressing for a wedding, Nordstrom has head-to-toe looks for wherever summer takes you. From swimwear and bold color to romantic florals and dresses that make an entrance, find the right style for every unforgettable moment. Shop new arrivals from brands you love like Farm Rio, Free People, Vince, Wave, and Stod. Plus free shipping and returns and styling help whenever you need it make it all so easy. Shop now in stores at Nordstrom.com or download the Nordstrom app.
Girl, winter is so last season. And now spring's got you looking at pictures of tank tops with hungry eyes. Your algorithm is feeding you cutoffs. You're thirsty for the sun on your shoulders. That perfect hang on the patio sundress. Those sandals you can wear all day and all night. And you've had enough of shopping from your couch. Done hoping it looks anything like the picture when you tear open that envelope? It's time for a little in-person spring treat. It's time for a trip to Ross. Work your magic.
Where is Daredevil?
I'm right here. Don't miss the return of Marvel Television's Daredevil Born Again.
So what's next?
I feel liberated.
We're gonna take this city back.
Over medicated.
In an all-new season, now streaming only on Disney+.
They're hunting us. It's time we started hunting them.
I can work with that.
This should be tons of fun.
Marvel Television's Daredevil Born Again, now streaming only on Disney+.
Hey, I just Venmo'd you for rent.
Nice. Now I can instantly spend it whether I'm checking out online with Venmo or using a Venmo debit card.
Say more.
More exactly. Because the more you do with Venmo, the more you get. Like earning up to 5% cash back with Venmo Stash on a bundle of brands.
So, order more pizza.
The math demands it.
Get the Venmo debit card.
Venmo Stash bundle terms and exclusions apply. See terms at venmo.me/stash terms. Venmo checkout not available at all merchants. Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A.
Plan B is a backup birth control option that's there for you when things don't go according to plan. It specifically works after unprotected sex and before pregnancy occurs by temporarily delaying ovulation. Plan B is available nationwide at all major retailers and through delivery apps like DoorDash. No ID, prescription, or age requirement. It's the #1 OBGYN recommended brand of emergency contraception, and it won't impact your future fertility. That's freedom to be. Use as directed.
As I'm sure you know, one of my absolute favorite types of horror stories involves haunted houses. Whether it's ghosts, poltergeists, or monsters of the human variety, I can't get enough of them. Today's story, The Burnt House on the Hill, is more than your typical and cliched haunted house story. It's haunting because the ghosts and ghouls are nothing like you expect. This one is a terrific slow burn, and I'm thrilled to narrate it for you. So sit back, turn down the lights, pull up the covers, turn up the volume, and pay close attention as I narrate The House on Burnt Hill by Shakeel Roa. I'm Will, and you're listening to Midnight Horror Stories.
Capture your favorite summer feeling with Pandora Jewelry. Discover a collection inspired by the sunshine, freedom, and moments that make the season unforgettable. From sun-kissed metals to personalized pieces, ready to be engraved with your summer mantra. Each design moves with you, from beach days to golden nights, and every memory in between. Shop Pandora Jewelry's new summer collection, in-store or online at pandora.net, and let your summer unfold.
The Burnt House on the Hill, written by Shakeel Roa. I don't remember my childhood, but I don't think I ever really left that house. Not completely, anyway. Even after a decade of making new memories, a decade after waking up in a hospital barely even remembering my own name, I can still feel a part of myself stuck there. It's in my dreams now. Every night. That goddamn house. I feel like I'm not a whole person anymore. Every morning I wake up and I feel that there is something missing. I think I left it in that house, and that part of me that was left in that house is pulling at me like a magnet. I think it wants to be whole again. But that's the thing. I don't know where the house is. Day 1. After my lunch break, he signals me into his office. As I sit down, everyone else starts to get back to their jobs. Phones begin ringing. Keyboards start clacking. Hell, even the printers get off lunch. It takes 10 minutes of Clark scrunching up his face and pinching the bridge of his nose before he puts my latest article down and actually says a word to me. "You're losing your touch, Gabe." I know. I tell him I blame it on my lack of sleep, insert a light chuckle, try to appeal to his humanity. He ignores it and looks at me with this gaze, a light smile and a gentle arch in the eyebrows. "Maybe you need to get out of the city for a while. Refresh. Burnout is the death of guys like us." Why the hell is he being so nice to me? He's just read probably the worst article I've ever written in my career, and yet his voice hasn't raised a single octave. He's chewed out others for less, threatened to fire better reporters for simple spelling mistakes. Is he messing with me? Before I even get the chance to shake my head, to tell him I'm fine, the other shoe drops, and he drops it with the most delighted grin. "You know, I might have the perfect opportunity for you. You're aware that the paper has a big hippie following, right? That whole new age thing." Fuck. Well, there's this music festival happening about 2 towns over. Up on the coast. It runs for the long weekend. I'm thinking we can get a lighthearted 2nd or 3rd page story on it. 2nd or 3rd? Don't bullshit me, Clark. This is back page material at best. You'll shove me somewhere right after the showtimes for the local movie theater. Listen, Clark, it's a win-win situation, Gabe. You get a break, and we get an easy story out of it too. Boss, I appreciate it, but I have some stories I'm in the middle of writing, okay? I got interviews happening over the next few days. The real Clark comes out in an instant. His eyebrows lower. His jaw clenches. Fuck, I wouldn't be surprised if his eyes turned red. "I'm not asking, Gabriel. This is your next piece. Listen, the festival starts tonight, so get your ass over there. I want a full 3-day coverage on it, or your ass is fired." The entire office goes quiet at that. Even the printers. After driving into the small town, setting up in a motel, and heading off towards the festival, everything immediately feels so different here. You could actually hear the birds, for one. You don't get that in the city. In walking through the town, of which it only took me 5 minutes, I noticed there are 2 clear distinctions in people. There are the old retirees, majority of which I imagine were born in this town, that all seemed ready to die here, like they lost all hope of leaving. The second type, the rowdy teens, all seem eager to drop everything and leave, afraid to end up like the generations before them. Yet all parties are smoking, drinking, and performing the same patterns of behavior. They're all just numbing themselves. I don't get it. This place seems beautiful. It feels homey. Why the need to distract from it? Of course, when stepping into the festival, it all becomes clear. There was so much noise. The invading kind. The kind that crawls into your head and won't leave you alone. Today's variation originates from the loud drum and bass and the screaming adults that reside in the festival grounds. In the span of 3 minutes, I spot 2 drug deals and 1 projectile vomit going straight at someone's open-toed sandals. Yeah, screw this. 3 days. I got 3 days of this festival, and since I sure as hell am not writing a shitty report on how drugged up 20-year-olds had the time of their miserable lives, I gotta find something worthwhile to write about. The notepad is already on the table. A fresh page, empty for the last 30 minutes. Fucking Clark. He knew I was lying about having other stories. My latest one took me a fucking month. Come on, Gabe. My drink is finally brought over. The older bartender gives me a smile. Here you go, hon. It's cold. Thank God. Now we just need a story. Taking a sip of the fresh pint, my frustration boils over. Fucking useless. The town citizens begin looking over, raising their eyebrows. It makes me shove my head down into my notebook. Does this place look like a charity? I just need... Get the fuck out of here. How many times do I have to say it? Someone is pushed into me, spilling my drink all over the notepad. Looking up, my eyes meet those of an old man. One of his eyes are pale, milky. That side of his face is covered in old and healed burn scars. Half his face looks like it's melted. He tries to continue the argument he was just having, but he can't stop staring at me. His mouth starts to hang open, eyes stretched wide. Stop disrupting my paying customers. He is pushed away from my table, stumbling out the doorframe. He takes one last look at me before turning to the woman who served me previously. You should be glad to help me. You should be thanking me. All of you should be thanking me. I'm keeping you all safe. Go find a park bench to sleep on, you crazy bastard. The old man mumbles something to her before walking off. Everyone in the pub goes back to their previous conversation, forgetting the disturbance already. As the bartender walks past me, I flag her over. Need another, hun? No, actually, I was just wondering what that guy's deal was. Him? Oh, don't worry about that. He's just a town crazy. Homeless? Yep. House burnt down about a decade ago and never really recovered. He kinda just wanders around most days. As I nod and she walks away, I decide to head back to my motel room. Maybe tomorrow will go better. On my restless nights, it always comes to me. Tonight is no different. I toss and turn, soaking the motel bedsheets in sweat. The house is back, calling, pulling. But in that moment that I would usually wake, this time something different happens. It bursts into flames. The wood screams out. The screams become that of a woman. The smallest ember drifts out, touching my skin, and I burst into flames as well. It hurts. I can't move. Yet the house is getting farther and farther away. When the flame goes out, my skin raw, there is nothing but a black void and a single voice. I can't make it out. But then more voices whisper in my ears. A child's voice asks me to come back. A woman asks me to remember. And a language I don't recognize tells me it has a story for me. Day 2. The barista at the cafe assumes I'm hungover as I order. I'm sure the festival goers coming in and out with sunglasses and squinted eyes do nothing for my own image. Only they had a rough night in a field, and I must have fought demons in my sleep. The barista hands me a to-go cup with a look aimed to show her sympathy at the hangover I don't have. A closed-mouth smile, squinted eyes, tilted head. I know I had a dream, but I can barely remember it. I only remember the house. So tell me about the creation of your band. The long, black-haired musician barely communicates any useful information during our interview. He comes dressed in nothing but a robe, one far too short to be manspreading in. He, of course, still does. They sit me on a filthy couch that looks like it was found on the side of the road, and the entire band laughs when the lead singer says it probably doesn't have any fleas on it. Well, it was the only way for all of us to get out of the shithole, really. You're local. Oh yeah, man. Half of our career was spent writing songs here. Was there a lot of inspiration from the town in those initial days? The black-haired singer finally seems interested. He looks at me completely, leaning over like he was telling a story over a campfire. One of our first songs was actually written about this big event we remembered as kids. The whole room goes quiet as the rest of the band walks up to and around us. Have you seen that crazy homeless bum around town? He smiles when I nod, happy that he can give me the story of the town tragedy. Well, one night, his house went up in flames. And I mean in flames. It burnt for hours, biggest and brightest fire I've ever seen. He barely got out, but his wife and kid, they never did. I used to go to school with that kid. We all did. He was weird, a real freak. But when I heard how he died, burnt to a crisp, I realized that I needed to get out of this town. I realized that I couldn't die in this town like that loser. We had to live life to the fullest. And so you made music. Damn right. First halfway decent song we ever made was because of that. Escaping the Fire hit top 500 in the country. As I listen to the agonizing noise that is currently being played on stage, Escaping the Fire, by popular demand, the perfect escape opportunity arrives when all the beer in my body needs to leave it. In my search of whatever direction has the least amount of people around, however, the old homeless man catches my eye. He's loitering on the outskirts of the festival grounds, walking around tents. He seems to be going through people's bags. In my half-drunk impression of a normal walk, the homeless man, finding a plethora of half-full bottles of vodka, quickly leaves before anyone notices him. Watching him take off with them, however, before I ignore him and carry on, my reporter's curiosity gets the better of me. The events of the house have so far been fascinating. There might be a story here. And in my heart, for some reason, I think I need to see that house. With the sun having set hours ago, I barely managed to keep the old man in my sights. He stumbles across town, muttering to himself, kicking at rocks on the sidewalk. But he never stops at the park benches we pass. He keeps walking and walking, taking swig after swig out of whatever leftover booze he scavenged. After a few minutes of what I assume to be just drunken wandering, the man makes a very deliberate turn, checking around him to make sure no one is following. Only after he turns onto a dirt track and starts whistling do I get out from behind a utility box. He seems to be taking the back way to something, cutting through the bush and trees on the outskirts of houses. It becomes even harder to follow him through there, the sound of his whistling the only thing directing me. It's loud with the sounds of cicadas, and the wind threatens to give me hypothermia. Soon enough, however, as the old man's whistling stops, I find myself knowing where to go. I somehow don't need to follow the whistling. This track through the bush, it feels familiar. When a rock appears in the middle of the path, I know to turn right and find a bridge crossing a small creek. At the sight of a massive tree trunk that makes one feel like an ant, I know to continue on. And when I spot that burnt house on the hill, I can't help but approach. It's still standing. How is it all still standing? The wood of the house is so charred it blends into the darkness of the night. The front door is long gone, and see the remnants of a life long lost. This house, it can't be. Something draws me into what used to be a hallway, its wallpaper having burnt away long ago. I remember photos along it. Stop. Why won't you just stop? Comes a muffled voice between burnt, brittle walls. Don't look at me. Stop looking at me like that, or I'll cut your eyes out again. Taking cautious steps towards the voice, peeking through a half-open door, I find nothing but an empty room. It might have been a bedroom, judging by the remnants of what looks to be a bunk bed. What sounds like a pipe being thrown across concrete comes from below, and that is when, in looking closer, The small silver handle of a basement hatch catches a glint of the moonlight. It opens relatively easy, and I don't even question why. I go down. I just take step after step down into the darkness, hoping that the faint flickering light I spot at the end of the staircase isn't just a figment of my imagination. The old man has ceased his yelling, and spotting him splayed out in an old wooden chair tells me why. The scavenged drinks seem to have finally gotten to him, but in the dim room, only lit by a small lantern at his feet, I look for who he was yelling at. After taking the lantern, I spot the pipe on the floor, rusted and bent. It leads me to the other end of this bomb shelter of a basement, its concrete floors becoming stained red as I near the far wall. First it starts faint, oxidized and dried across the floor, but it becomes fresher as each new step is taken, leading me to spot a pair of feet hanging above the floor. They are held together, pinned to the wall by a single nail wide enough to be called a javelin. In lifting the lantern, the entirety of who or what the old man was yelling at is revealed. It's a man. He could be no older than me, only he is malformed, cut and scarred, covered in blood, both fresh and old. Upon further inspection, it appears that the skin on his back, his spine, and his ribs are growing into the concrete, stretching across it. Its head is doing the same, hairless skin spreading onto the wall like mold. My gasp must wake him, as his eyes shoot open, revealing milky, half-formed irises and pupils. It tries to look at me, tries to smile, but as it opens its mouth, a hand grabs my shoulder, tossing me onto the ground. The lantern drops, but does not shatter, and the flickering light illuminates the old man approaching the thing on the wall. He delivers a drunken snarl to it and brandishes a knife. The wall does not look his way, instead continuing to look at me as the old man slits his throat. As new hot blood falls across the wall's body, the old man turns and stands over me, the same knife now pointed at my own throat. What the fuck are you doing here? The wall's blood on the tip of the knife falls onto my neck. I don't know. The knife is thrust closer, the tip threatening to break skin. Did he call you? What? No, I'm just a reporter. The knife slides against my neck. It doesn't cut skin, but it does leave a red mark across my throat. The man walks away, taking the lantern with him. Well, you're about 12 years too late to report this. Getting up, I try to ignore the body in the wall, now covered from head to toe in red. What is that? Who is that? The older man sits back down on his chair. That, he points with his knife, used to be my son. One of my sons. Why are you doing that to your own son? I said it used to be my son. It's something else now. I don't understand. With a laugh, the older man finishes another scavenged bottle and gestures me closer. That thing on the wall, it has a message to spread, a story to tell. The last story. It'll be the end of all of us if it spreads it. That's why I slit its throat just then. So it's dead now. No, it isn't dead. I burnt it the first time, when it got to her. It took the whole house with it, and the rest of my family. It didn't kill it. It'll always come back. Pacing the room, I try to process everything. Fuck. So what, you've been cutting this thing's throat for the last decade? What will happen when you can't do it anymore? What'll it do? I don't know. But as long as I'm here, it won't be talking. The knife rolls across the floor, stopping at my feet. Here, it'll heal in a few hours. I need to sleep, and since you're here, you can help me. Kicking the knife back causes the old man to snarl again, his eyes bloodshot and almost demonic in the faint lantern light. You're in this now. I don't know how you got here, but you're gonna cut that fucker's throat so I can sleep. Got it? And looking towards the far wall, the lack of lighting making it too dark to see the body, I imagined the silhouette. What was his name? After a moment, the old man closes his eyes and leans back in his chair. Gabriel. The knife rolls back over. I listen. I stand there, watching the body. My eyes get heavier and heavier, and soon, for just a moment, I close my eyes. I hear an ethereal voice echoing in the house. It asks if I remember, but the only thing I can picture is someone dragging me through the hallway. I take a few final looks at the pictures, the family pictures, a woman, two of me. It's getting hotter. I get out somehow, climb out of a window. It doesn't stop me from burning. I run, but I'm still burning. I left something I forgot. The other half, the magnet. Day 3. Good morning, brother. With a gasp, I'm reminded of my task. My eyes, now adjusted to the dark, focus in on the wall. The body has healed itself overnight. But before the blade in my hand can cut into the wall's throat, its voice calls out to me again. Only, this time from behind me. Please don't. In my alarmed state, hearing it talk when I wasn't supposed to let it, I worry I'm starting to go insane. Because behind me stands me, a mirrored version. Backing up, I keep the blade at the wall's throat, threatening to cut if the other version of me doesn't stay back. Don't be afraid. I'm not going to hurt you, or anyone for that matter. Get out of my head. It flashes a smile, eyebrows lowered, corners of the mouth raised. I thought it might be better to talk this way. It points to the wall. I can't really make words in that form anymore. What are you? The other half. The first half, technically. Of what? Of the message. Right now, just me on that wall. I'm like an incomplete sequence of numbers. I only have the odd numbers. You have all the even ones. That doesn't make any sense. I'm not from here. Why the fuck do you look like me? The mirrored me furrows its brow, shaking its head. You've forgotten. That's unfortunate. I need you to remember. Please, we need to send out the message. I'm sure it's still in there. Would my past form be better for you? Do I need to look like how I did that night? It changes from looking like me to looking like a child, bordering on the edge of adolescence. Its voice changes as well, a voice that I recognize. It calls to me in my dreams. I'm Gabriel, your brother, remember? It looks over its shoulder, towards the still passed out old man. We got you out when he burnt us. I tried coming with you, but the fire spread too quick. I've been stuck here, calling for you. I'm glad you finally found your way home. It's almost too much, but the familiarity I feel in this place can't be denied. I remember that fire, the photos that used to be on the wall. I remember the sheets on the bunk bed. It's all coming back, like this thing on the wall is drip-feeding me back my own memories. I don't understand. I'm Gabriel. That's my name. That's the only name you could remember. It steps forward, doesn't care about the knife at its throat. So what was my name then? It doesn't matter. You're Gabriel now. The non-existent food in my stomach threatens to expel itself across the concrete floor. The child version of me, or my brother, softens his gaze, approaching to take the blade from my hand. Help me from this wall, Gabriel. Now that you are here, we can finally tell the final story. Deliver the most gracious message. My hand starts to lower, the knife barely held in my grip. Take my hand. The knife falls to the ground. By my own will or his, it doesn't matter. His body, the wall, grips my hand, and I pull. The sound of skin ripping and bone cracking echo in the dark. The nails pinning arms and legs stay embedded in the wall, with his feet and hands ripping off instead. The boy who had grown into the wall is finally free. Half of my brother's face stays as well, bone and brain hanging with it. But he is not concerned. The amount of blood pouring out from his wounds threatened to ruin my shoes, but we are not concerned. Parts of him are left, and it's just like peeling melted roadkill off a highway. What have you done? The old man snarls at us, the rusted pipe in his hand. I look towards the body in my arms. Its milky eyes meet mine before his voice is in my head again. Goodbye, brother. In an instant, everything hurts as the mutilated body of my brother opens its mouth and screams. It's a frequency so agonizingly high that I'm left convulsing on the floor, blood pouring from my eyes and ears. The old man, my father, is left no better. He is on his hands and knees, throwing up blood and coughing up organs as everything but his skin begins to liquidize. Soon he is nothing but a puddle, and in my pain, the screaming begins to make sense. It seems to rewire my brain, bringing back my memories and in turn the ability to understand. The scream is a language, a beautiful one. Day 4. Waking up in a field is not ideal, but the sight is something. I find myself back at the festival grounds, the stage just ahead. All around me are puddles of red, liquidized bone, muscle, and organs belonging to hundreds of festival goers. I'm wandering around. I find the entire town to have had the same fate. The road, sidewalk, park benches, it's all covered in beautiful reds. My phone vibrating in my pocket draws me away from the sight. When I spot the name Clark, I answer. Hello. Gabe, how was the weekend? You driving back into the city yet? Yeah, I'm just about to leave. Perfect. I expect that festival piece by the end of the week. Yeah, about that. I got a much better story. I think people will really enjoy it.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
What did you think of The Burnt House on the Hill? Comment on Spotify and let's talk about it. A special thank you to Shakeel Roa for submitting this terrific horror story. Be sure to follow him on social media at Shakeel Roa on Instagram and Budget Boy Films on YouTube. And be sure to follow Midnight Horror Stories wherever you stream pods and on YouTube. And don't forget to leave a 5-star review. I'm Will, and thanks for listening to Midnight Horror Stories. See you next episode.